What if I told you the world was designed to keep the old rich? Political and economic systems are deeply intertwined to ensure that wealth and land stay in the hands of a few generation after generation. For centuries, the old rich have mastered the rules of the game. They own the land, one of the most limited and valuable resources on Earth. They generate output and convert their earnings into gold, property, and more land. But here's the thing about land, it's finite. Once it's claimed, it rarely changes hands. Through political influence, redistribution of land almost never happens in significant amounts. Have you noticed what the media tells us? Renting is smarter than buying. Don't tie yourself down with a mortgage. Be flexible, keep your options open, but stop for a moment and think about it. What does that really mean? It means paying rent forever. It means always being beholden to a landlord, and it means never owning the ground beneath your feet. Now look around. In places like Hong Kong, the wealth gap between property owners and renters is staggering. In the United States, millions struggle to afford even a small home. The dream of ownership is slipping further and further out of reach. Even in political systems that appear more benevolent, the game is rigged in subtle ways. Owning a second home, taxed heavily, passing down property to your children, controlled and taxed again, and much of the land available for purchase. Sold with 30 or 99-year leases so you never truly own it. The message is clear. Ownership isn't for everyone, but why? Because these systems are built not to enrich you, but to sustain themselves. Governments and economic frameworks exist to ensure there's enough labor to produce and buy goods. That's their real purpose, to keep the machine running. But here's the thing. Systems aren't invincible. They're not permanent. They were created by people and they can be changed by people. As John F. Kennedy once said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. So I ask you, what can you do for yourself? What can you do to change the system? It's time for the younger generation to think for themselves, to question the rules that seem unchangeable. Governments and systems won't hand you wealth or power, but they also can't stop you from reshaping the future. You have the power to ask hard questions, to challenge the narrative, to demand a world where ownership is accessible, not reserved for the few. Think, question, act. You have the power to shape your future. Will you work to enrich the few? Or will you change the rules of the game? The choice is yours. Own your future. Think beyond the system.